Hey, you. Yeah, you. You with the face and the ears that are listening to this podcast right now. Welcome to episode 5 of The Veteran Effect with your host, Francisco Valencia. This is my second podcast of the day. Today is September 29th, 2017, the year of our Lord. Oh, Lord. Man, do we have a good podcast for you. So, Selena Hurtado is the wife of an E7 Navy Corpsman who is, I guess, a chief, not a Master Chief yet. And no, not like Master Chief on Halo. He's just a chief. But not just a chief. I mean, that's a pretty legit rank, if you ask me. But they're stationed down in San Diego, California. Sunny San Diego. Good morning, San Diego. I don't want to do the Ron Burgundy thing. I was going to say, go fuck yourself, San Diego. But really, I don't want to do that. But, yeah, we got into some good stuff. She gave me good view on what it is to be a military spouse. I mean, I've had a spouse that was in the that was my military spouse. She wasn't in the military. I was in. And then I've always aspired to be a military spouse. I thought that was retirement, living a life. But I don't know. After talking to her, I'm not sure that that's something I want to do. I don't know that I could take care of 3 kids at one time. Hats off to her. She does the thankless, hardcore job of being a stay-at-home mom. So definitely a good podcast. I hope you guys enjoy, and talk to you guys again soon.
Mama, mama, can't you see?
Mama, mama, can't you see?
What this army's done to me?
What this army's done to me?
Mama, mama, can't you see?
Mama, mama, can't you see?
What this army's done to me?
What this army's done to me?
And we're live. How you doing today, Selena?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. Everybody, this is Selena Hurtado. This is my cousin, also a military spouse. How long have you been a military spouse?
I have been a military spouse for 6 years.
Yeah? How is it?
It's great. It has a lot of pros and cons, but overall it's been fun.
Yeah? A lot of people don't really get to see the side of the military spouse, so I thought this would be kind of a unique perspective you have on things in the military. Your husband's in the Navy, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's in the Navy. He's been in the Navy going on 13 years.
Oh, man. That's a long time.
Yeah. So he went in right after high school. So that was 2004. Yeah.
And you guys have how many children together?
We have 3 daughters.
And
we have an 8-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 9-month-old.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of babies.
Yeah.
So, so how's been your experience being in the military life? I know a lot of people, they get their view from that show, The Army Wives.
Uh-huh.
But I'm sure it's a lot different than what you see on TV.
Yeah, it definitely is a lot different than what you see on TV. It has its pros and cons. He has missed births, birthday parties, school awards, events, things like that. But at times, it feels like being like a single parent but married, but, I respect what he does. He does what he does for, not only his country, but, for us as well. So, we're very, very accommodating of that as well. We move, we change jobs, schools, and, it's our lifestyle.
Definitely. I would imagine that it's very, a lot of sacrifices have to go through on your end. Not just his end, but your end as well.
Yeah, sacrifices definitely have been made, but, sacrifices, are often worth it, so we make the best of it.
So what are the pros of it, and then we'll go through the cons of it. What are the pros?
There's a lot of pros. It's neat to, to be able to travel to different places, meet new people. So that's pros too. A lot of people my age I know haven't been to many places, and it's neat for my 8-year-old to be able to say, hey, I lived in Hawaii, or, hey, I live, here in San Diego, so, I'm able to do, this on my summer vacations, taking advantage of that. Cons, would be him being away a lot, like I had mentioned, missing, milestones like births, pregnancies because of deployments, not only deployments, but training as well. So I'd say that's definitely, a big con.
You got your baby in the background?
Yeah, just hanging out.
No worries. So the biggest thing I think would be the constant time away, the constant distance. But does that make the time when you guys are together better?
Yeah, it's definitely true. Distance definitely makes the heart grow fonder. So it's definitely, there's a lot of truth behind that too.
And how about getting along with fellow Navy wives, I guess you would say?
It's been, I haven't really had any negative experiences so far. I keep to myself. My husband is more senior too, so I go to all his work events. I meet new spouses. I exchange phone numbers with them, and kind of give them a heads up. If they need anything or any advice, or need any information as far as like resources. I'm definitely more than there to help. So they've extended that way, and reached out to me for help and stuff like that. So that's been pretty cool, and being able to help them.
Definitely. So you haven't seen too much of the drama side of living on base or any of that?
No,
You've been lucky.
I like I said, I keep to myself. I hear a lot of it. It's mostly like younger, newlywed military, newlyweds, and they're living in, they just came in, and so when they live on base, they live with, E3s, E4s, and I hear they can often get a little catty sometimes, but my husband being a little bit more senior, we're more reserved. We kind of keep to ourselves, and we do socialize, but overall we mostly keep to ourselves.
Now, during deployments, do you stay at the base or do you go home?
Both. I usually go home. There's more help there and family, and it's just nice to kind of catch up with family, because normally when I'm away, I miss out on, stuff going on back at home. So it's just nice to be back home and have help.
No, definitely. I could definitely understand that, because, some people don't have that option, but if you have the option, it's definitely something that is beneficial, both to you and to your children.
Yeah. I have stayed. I have stayed home during deployment. It was definitely a little challenging, because it's me by myself with no family around, and, our kids. And so it's that thing, Murphy's Law, where everything could go wrong, goes wrong. So, yeah, that's why after that experience, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to go home. Makes it definitely a lot easier. Not a little bit, but a lot easier.
Yeah, nobody's unavailable, or not unavailable, unsusceptible to Murphy's Law. That's definitely very true. What's going to go wrong will go wrong.
Yeah, I've definitely learned that, being home by myself during a deployment. So, like, yeah, we're not doing that again.
I could definitely see that. So besides the deployments and, the military events, how has it been supporting somebody? Because I feel like spouses kind of have to take a back seat to their husbands in the military.
Honestly, when you love somebody, you truly will make the ultimate sacrifice and put that person before yourself. And so, like I said, him going into the military right after high school, he was able to go to college, like most people do. He joined the service, and, I worked. And then when he and I got together, got married and decided to have a family, I also made sacrifices. I gave up working to be a stay-at-home mom, and, I put college off, and I supported him, in his decisions to go back to college and encouraged him. So he actually has done a lot of online classes, and he's actually a couple classes away from getting his master's degree. So, yeah, and I've also, been supportive of his decisions, as far as to advance in the military. Right now, he just promoted to E7, which is a chief in the Navy. So I also, was there beside him,
No, that's definitely
sure that he had less stress on top of the stress that he had, with everything going on, being chief or promoting to chief. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely important in any, I think, field, is to have a strong backbone at home, somebody that's there to support you and that's going to be there for you no matter what.
Right, yeah, definitely.
So
what? Yeah, because
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, it makes it a little harder, when when you put yourself before someone else, and you guys can't see eye to eye as far as decisions. It makes it definitely a little more complicated, and I've seen other married couples face those challenges. So
no, definitely.
I just so just try to be supportive.
Yeah, I definitely could see that. Man, yeah, it's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna ask you. So, what are your plans for you? Like, I know you're supporting him, you're doing what you need to do, but what plans do you have for Selena?
For me, I have plans for myself. They're actually, in effect. I'm working towards those. I also plan to go back to school. I went to college, right after high school, but I didn't get to finish my degree. So I'm going to be working on that here pretty soon. And, I think he only has 7 more years left coming into long terms, as far as where we're going to settle and, buying a house. So those are kind of our main goals right now, as far as, finally being able to be stable and have stability, for the girls, and then not to have to switch schools. So that's my goal right now for me.
No, well, definitely that's pretty lofty goals and pretty good goals to have. And as long as I think you guys are trying to accomplish them together, you guys should be fine, right?
Thank you, yeah.
So how's it been, the separation from your family and all that? Because I know family is pretty important to you.
Yeah, definitely. Family is very, very important to me. It's definitely been hard, being away from my family. I'm pretty close to them. So, they'll send me pictures of gatherings, of everybody together. I'm like, oh, man, I wish I could be there. But, I definitely look forward to the times I'm able to come home and spend time with, my family, my cousins, my aunts and uncles, my mom and dad. And so I definitely try to, take advantage of the time that I'm able to spend with them. But it's definitely been really hard, especially with grandparents getting older and, their health kind of declining. And, my grandpa, he actually, and so that's what I was talking about, that Murphy's Law, everything that could go wrong goes wrong. And so, I got a phone call from my dad saying, hey, he may not make it. You may want to get out here so, you could see him. So, I'm waiting to contact my husband and, waiting to hear from him. So, our communication is, via email. So I sent him an email, and he's very supportive. He's like, definitely, you fly out there, today, tomorrow, whenever you can, and, make sure you get out there to him. So I'd say that's definitely the hardest part about being away from family.
Yeah, it's not down the street. It's sometimes cross country, sometimes over the sea.
Yeah, we've talked about that too, because we've talked about getting orders, to Japan or, Italy. And I mean, those countries are definitely, beautiful countries. But, I think about, the time that it would take me to get back here to California, where my family resides, and, how long that would take. And then, flying my children out, it's definitely would be costly for, family emergency like that. So,
yeah.
So he's been very accommodating as far as staying like in the States, which has been, definitely nice.
Well, I definitely recommend if you ever have the opportunity to go overseas, I mean, I did a tour in Japan for 3 years, and it was tough on my ex-wife at the time, but at the same time, she got the benefit of seeing another country and another world, something she probably would have never saw had she not gone. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
So, I mean, the exposure to what's on in the world, I mean, most people stick in their little corner of their part of the world and stuff, and the ability to go out and see what the world has to offer is definitely something that's very enticing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've talked about it too. We definitely love to take, the opportunity to, be able to be stationed overseas. So, hopefully, we don't know what the future has in store for us, but hopefully.
Definitely. So he's going to do the full 20 then, obviously. I mean, at least.
Yeah, definitely. But, they're flying by so fast. So usually his orders are like every 3 years. So I think we'd only have like a few more duty stations to kind of make that happen.
No, definitely. Yeah, because I remember, well, I mean, we haven't really hung out in a long time, but the last time we hung out, I think, was in 2012 when I came home from Afghanistan, and he was on orders. He was on a boat somewhere, no?
He was overseas. He was actually in Europe on deployment, and he had deployed for 7 months out there, and so I was home and able to hang out with you. So that was definitely really nice.
Yeah, so that's one of the small benefits, I guess. Yeah, so you guys are where currently?
We are currently in San Diego, California.
Okay. So then that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, San Diego's a nice place to live. It's expensive, but it's a nice place to live.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, it's beautiful though. I really enjoy it here. So much to do, so much to see.
Yeah, it definitely is. Southern California has a lot to offer.
Yeah.
So being a military spouse, I mean, you kind of...
Mom? Go ahead. What?
I said, being a military spouse, you kind of...
I got 3 books.
Being a military spouse, you kind of get a little bit of the effect what it is to be a veteran. I mean, some military spouse believe they're veterans, but you get a little bit of the effect of the change of your mindset on how you view the world. So how do you sit with everything that's been happening lately?
How do I say it or feel? Sorry.
How do you feel? Sorry.
My earpiece. So, I feel content. I don't really have much worry, much fear. I don't know if that's a bad thing, but I know that, our service members, sorry, just a moment. Stuff that they do and, a little bit of the background that, I've seen, I feel it'll be all right.
I'm sorry. There was a lot of background noise when you were saying that, so I didn't really get to understand what you said.
Okay. Are you talking about with everything that's going on in the world as far as like overseas and stuff like that?
No, well, I mean, your view. Okay, I guess that was a little broad. Let me be a little bit more specific. There's been a lot of stuff in the news lately about the past weekend with the protests and everything. How do you view that? Being you're not just an average citizen, but the spouse of somebody in the military, because a lot of people are taking offense saying the disrespect in the military. I just want to know what your view on it is.
Oh, the disrespect with the national anthem. Yeah, I feel that's definitely very very disrespectful, to our country. I feel like, the NFL and stuff could, be protesting other things. I don't feel like, I feel like it's a big slap in the face to those who are veterans and those who, have served our country, and those who have ultimately, have made the sacrifice and even, have paid that, have even given our lives. So I just feel like it's not cool.
And now my follow-up question is, why?
Why?
Yeah.
I just feel like, we kind of have to choose our battles, pick and choose, the big ones and the small ones. And I just feel like everything that's going on in the world, there's bigger things that need to be addressed and to be concerned about, and, not be, that is a big one over the flag. But I just think it's very disrespectful for people to not stand, for the national anthem.
Now, does it make you feel different when they say that they're not disrespecting the military?
No, because I feel like it's still disrespectful. I feel like it's still disrespectful because it's our country, and our service members, they're a big contribution to our country.
Okay. So, does it, when the okay, so right now a lot of people feel you the way you feel, right? I have a little bit of a different point of view on it. But that seems to be the factor that everybody believes that they're disrespecting the veterans and the people who have served by disrespecting the flag, by disrespecting the national anthem. Now, my question is, when did any of them ever say they're disrespecting the military or the people who have served?
I personally, I don't really get involved with the politics and stuff as far as that goes. So I have not really heard it, anybody precisely say that, they're not disrespecting the military. But, I think that topic in itself, we have a lot of patriotic people. We have a lot of patriotic people that are in our service, that love our country. And so, I love our country, So I feel like I just honestly feel it's really disrespectful. I feel like there should be other protests, against, protecting our women or, things like that actually matter,
Ooh, let me back you up right there, because the protest is about the inequality in today's society and people of color being shot in the streets, unarmed people of color being shot in the streets, and nothing being done about the people who kill them. Whether right or wrong, there's been a lot of unjustified shootings by anybody's standard, and people have just gone scot-free. So that, I believe that was why it initially started, and it's been transitioned into an excuse to take off the initial topic and people voting that, hey, this is disrespecting the military. When most veterans, honestly, I think, would say that they didn't join and serve the flag. They joined, and when they joined, they swear oath to defend the Constitution and the United States, and not the flag, not the national anthem, which is racist in and of itself. But I digress. We will move off this topic.
Okay. I was like, yeah, I know it's definitely, a big topic, but yeah.
No worries. No worries. So yeah. How are you? How is everything? How is the life?
The life, it's going. I'm just raising my kids. Just dealing with everyday things, being a wife, being a mother. Making sure that, I'm raising, good little women, for the future. So, That's pretty much it.
Well, that's definitely good. I can hear you being a mom in the background. It never stops, does it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a 24/7 job.
Well, that's definitely good that you're able to stay home and be the full-time mom as opposed to having to go work, because a lot of times in today's society, a lot of people don't have that opportunity.
Yeah, I've been the working mom, the full-time mom, and it was just, my husband at the time, he was commuting south, I was commuting north, and so, when he would get home, he would take care of our daughter because he had a set schedule, I didn't, and so, I'd work late hours and come home, and, they'd both be asleep, and, on my days off, I'd be so exhausted, but, I wouldn't send her to daycare, because I'd want to spend time with her. And my husband had just found out that he was deploying, so he's like, you know what? He's like, you should just be a stay-at-home mom. He goes, she really needs you, especially, with me being away. So, it's going to be just as hard on her. So, I think it'd be very beneficial, for you to just, be home. So, we both agreed, and, I'm very thankful for him and, that decision that we made together. And it's definitely been very rewarding, to have a peace of mind of, my kids being at home with me and not having to worry about, who's going to pick them up from daycare, if he's going to be training during those days, and then having to sign other arrangements. But, I definitely, respect those who are not, able to stay at home and, who have to work. So, big props to them.
Yeah, a lot of people will say you you got the ultimate job, the thing that everybody looks for.
Yeah. I get that a lot. I definitely do.
It's so uncommon today. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You're retired. I mean, it's still a full-time job. It's not always a thing. It's not always. It's kind of a thankless job at times. But a lot of people look at it as like you retired.
Right. Yeah. No, I actually got really sick a few weeks ago. I was like, man, I'm down. My kids are feeling good. I was like, man, they can't get what I get because, that would be awful. I actually had strep throat. And so
that's never good.
I rarely get sick, but, being sick, I was pretty down. So I had to get well, like, super fast so that I was able to, be my normal self and, not having to worry about, getting anybody else sick, helping in the classrooms and stuff like that, being around the other kids.
No, definitely. Yeah, man, that's tough. You can't have that. You don't want a house full of three sick babies, and then you get your husband sick, and he's got to stay home. So you got 4 sick babies at home you got to take care of, and you're sick.
Oh, I know. Yeah. It seems like when husbands get sick, it's the worst because they're like the biggest babies. I'm just kidding.
We are. Hey, you know what? We are, because if something takes us down, it takes a lot to take us out.
That's true. I was feeling like that too. So I was like, man, I can't even imagine, like to be like the full provider, like the income, making the income, and then to be down like that, and then, some people it does affect, pretty hard when you're not able to, when you do call in sick, it affects like pay and stuff like that. So, well,
in the military, you can't even really call in sick. Like you have to.
You have to go. You have to go. And they'll just send you off with some ibuprofen and have
put
you
your ass back to work. Yeah. There's no real such thing as, hey, you know what? I'm not coming in today. I'm sick. That doesn't exist. A lot of people don't understand that. Is if you're sick, you have to go to the doctors, and they have to say, okay, you know what? I'll give you quarters for 24 hours, and then that's it. And then if you have to go back to work the next day, regardless if you're still dying or not, and you have to perform.
Right. Yeah, my husband, he's actually a corpsman in the Navy, and he became an independent duty corpsman, so he sees a lot of patients, and sometimes they're sick and stuff like that. I'm just like, oh man, I hope we don't get sick. So lots of vitamins and orange juice and, all that good stuff.
No, definitely. You gotta.
But yeah, sick days don't exist in the military, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's no, I don't feel good, I'm not going to the gym today. There's no, I don't feel good, I'm not going to go work out today. There's none of that. That doesn't really exist. The freedom of choice isn't something that you have in the military.
Right, true.
Yeah, because I remember a time I was in Japan, because that was my first duty station, and I was going through a custody battle with my youngest daughter. And the judge told me, come home. And I said, sir, I can't. I'm in the military. I don't exactly have that option. He said, well, you should try hard. And if you can come home, then that would be best for your daughter and for you. So if you could do that, come home. If not, then this is how it's going to be. And I was like, well, obviously you don't understand how the military works if you think I could just say, okay, I'm going home now, guys.
Right. Yeah, it don't work like that at all. My husband, he actually had dislocated his shoulder. When we had our second daughter, he was in a lot of pain to hold her. And I was like, what's wrong with you? Like, you can't hold a 7-pound baby? Like, what's the matter with you? Right? And so he's like, no, it really hurts. And I was like, okay, that's not like him. He usually don't complain, So anyways, we ended up taking him to get an MRI done. And they're like, yeah, you have a, dislocated shoulder. Like, you're going to need surgery. And so I was like, yeah, get your surgery. You need it. Get it done. He's like, no. He's like, because if I get surgery, I'm not going to be able to go through this program, which was the independent duty corpsman to become an IDC. And I was like, you know what? You're being stubborn. Just do it. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And so I kid you not, it's been like 4 years, and this man has not gotten surgery. And they did an X-ray, and they just said it kind of like healed itself. And I was like, why is he so stubborn? But yeah, no sick days for him. He didn't take any days off. And he, like I said, he put off getting surgery.
Yeah, it just happens to be like that. It's kind of mentality you develop. You develop one that, you can't stop. You just keep going and fuck it, because you don't have a choice, so you just deal with it.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly his mentality.
I don't have that so much anymore. I mean, I do a little bit, but for the most part, I've been able to drop that mentality. The fuck it,
good.
And I've learned to kind of take care of myself a little bit more.
Yeah, you definitely have to, because nobody's going to take care of you but you, and especially in the long term, you definitely want to take care of yourself.
No, that is definitely true.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we're about a half hour in. I don't know how much time you have. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling all right.
Okay. All right, so you wanted to come on here, so what do you want to talk about?
I was just wanting to answer any questions you have for me.
I just thought it'd be awesome to get a perspective of a military wife. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
This thing is more.
I'm glad you had me, to be able to answer those questions and, to see it from that perspective.
Yeah, because, I mean,
awesome.
we'll get the military perspective. I want it to be something that's beneficial to all people. Whether military or not, a lot of people don't realize we go through a lot of the same shit, and we go through a lot of different shit. And there's not a big voice out there for people who go through it. I mean, it's one of those unknown things, and people only see, I believe, people usually only see what they see on the media and on, on movies and TV shows like Army Wives. Everybody thinks life is like the Army Wives.
This is going to be bad to say, but I actually have not watched the Army Wife.
Oh, no, but don't.
Yeah.
I
was like, everybody.
I watched a little bit. I wasn't in the service when it came out, and my ex-wife would watch it, and I watched a little bit of it, and it was just a show about drama. That's all it was.
Really? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm good then.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I was married in the military, and I knew a lot of married people in the military, and I knew a lot of single people in the military, and I always felt that military wives had a little bit harder than your average wife and stuff because it's a lot of sacrifice and a lot of stuff that gets put on hold, and you aren't really living. You're not really equal in the relationship, honestly, and it takes a very special kind of person to be able to accept that and stay in the relationship.
It does, and like I said, being a military spouse and being with my husband for as long as we've been together, he thanks me quite often. He tells me, thank you for your sacrifices. I know that you sacrificed a lot, so that way I've been able to fulfill what I've wanted to in my career. And he's like, we've not had much stability. We've moved, and as soon as it feels like home, you just have to pack it all up and start all over again. And I tell him, I was like,
yeah, it takes a strength that a lot of people don't have to be able to be a military spouse.
Yeah, and that's true. It's true, and I've learned a lot, and I've seen a lot, so I've learned off of it.
Well, that's definitely.
I'm trying to make the best out of every situation, possible. So.
And that's all you really can do.
Right, but I'm not gonna lie. It gets kind of exhausting sometimes. My daughter, she's gone to 3 different schools, and she's in 3rd grade. So, I feel for her. She don't complain much, but, I would like to have stability for her.
Yeah. Being a former military brat, I can attest to that. I went to 13 different schools in 12 years.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So you get it. You definitely get it then.
Yeah. So, but you know what? At the end of the day, she's gonna be more aware of the world, and she's gonna be more open to what's going on, and less judgmental, and not so closed-minded. And that will be a testament to the constant movement, the constant meeting of new people, the constant influx of people, the constant mix of everybody she sees. She's not stuck to one type of person, one type of people. She sees everybody and everything, and she sees them all together. So that will be more beneficial for her in her life in the long run.
Yeah, I hope so. As a mother, you worry, and it's just kind of natural instinct. So it's like, this is kind of like a lot of pressure for her being so so young, so, she's only 8, so we're trying to kind of make it fun. She was just given one of those Instamax cameras, the little picture pops out kind of like a Polaroid.
Yeah.
So I was actually talking to her, and I was like, it'd be really neat, if we found you a really cool journal, and all the places that we go, if you take a picture of what you like about where we're at, and then you can just write a few sentences and be like, this is what I liked, or this is what I didn't like, or this is what I learned, coming to this new place. So, then to kind of collaborate it with every other place that we've been to. So we're trying to make it fun for her, little things like that.
That, and then, she's going to be really good at making friends and meeting people, and she'll get used to it because that's normal for her, is to go and not be afraid to meet people because she's used to it. She has to.
Right. Yeah, she definitely has to, but I think right now, as she's getting older, she's like, Mom, this is a new school. Everyone's kind of formed their little cliques with their friends, so it's kind of hard, being an outsider coming in now because, everybody has their little cliques. So she does face like a little challenges, but overall she's adapted pretty well.
Oh yeah, there's definitely
when she was like in kindergarten, 1st grade, she was like fearless, and like now she's just like, it's a little harder now. So
yeah, there definitely is a challenge. I can agree with that.
Yeah, so you definitely get it, being a military brat yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Man, that's crazy.
And you guys were stationed overseas at a young age too, right?
Yeah, we went to Germany at 6 years old. I was 6 when we went to Germany, and then we went to Fort Hood, and then we also went to El Paso. And then after they split, I came back to Yuba City, Roseville, back to El Paso. all kinds of different places, man. I until high
Right.
school, I had not been in a school longer than 2 years.
Oh man.
In high school,
Yeah, that's
high school was a brand new high school, brand new district. I knew nobody.
and that's kind of harder because you're like an adult now,
Oh yeah.
going to different school. How was that?
Well, now it doesn't matter.
Well, you're a guy too, so it's a
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I was like, you're a guy. It's a little more easier for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like now I'm in college and stuff. I don't really care. Like, no, I don't have interest in making too many friends and stuff. I mean,
Right.
most people are a lot younger than me, so I don't really have much interest in making friends with them. Just because I don't feel like we'd be able to relate. Their views of the world are completely different than mine.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so that's another reason I wanted to develop this podcast too, is because I have a lot of friends that I used to connect to in the military and stuff like that I haven't talked to in a long time, and this is a way for me to reconnect with them as well. So I mean, there's multiple reasons I developed this and going forward with it.
Okay, that's pretty nice.
Yeah. So.
Right on.
Well, I definitely appreciate you coming on. You've been awesome. You've definitely given us a different insight into the world of the military spouse.
Hey, thank you.
And I definitely
I'm glad
I hope to have you on again.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that.
But I'll let you go attend to the little ones, the little girls, my little nieces.
Yeah, probably lunchtime for them. I will make something.
It's about lunchtime, right?
Right. Alrighty. Well, thank you for having me. Take care.
All right, I appreciate you. Thank you. Love you.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Love you too.